there'll be other people.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I will get some.
Thank you, Bill. They're really handy. We need to have them do them in all planes of movement, but right now, whoever makes them is only doing them in satellite. So, okay, so here are more handouts for you all.
I wonder if one of the artists' mannequins would actually be better as a
And I was kind of thinking that the problem is
so expensive.
they're probably $2.
Oh, yeah.
But still, I bet I could keep looking and find something. Or April was thinking pipe cleaners,
Oh, yeah.
you know, or there's got to be other things.
Yeah.
So the bane of my existence as a presenter has always been handouts.
Right.
It's always been that. But here they are.
Each one of these is separate.
Yes, they should be a set. Okay, so. Thank you so much. How are you? Good. Glad to meet you.
Thank you. Am I supposed to?
Look, there's two sets. There's one picture over there,
Okay.
and then there's this here.
Okay.
Here's the second sheet.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, Marcy. Yay. Marcy, as I said, if you get a, oh, and Carly, yay, yay. I'm going to send you a heart. But I also have my phone here if it gets to be that you are feeling like you want to, you call me that or talk to me that way. And my phone number is 208-315-0508.
Just need one more set of handouts, unless you don't have any in
Wait a minute, I may not have any.
That's fine, I can go with that.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give you something else.
No worries.
So this is how to schedule, and I did it. Let's stick it over there. Okay. Okay. I'll send them to you because I don't ran out. Okay.
Yeah. No, I got one over here.
Oh, that's right.
Plenty of.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of those, but none of the other ones. Okay. So I'll make sure that everybody can see me. Lisa, did you get everything? Did you get it? Yeah, that's okay. Good. Just one more person. If anybody hasn't been here before, there is a nice little, this is kind of like a circle, or I guess a horseshoe, you know, that shape. But if you go out the door here, and you go that way. Oh, there's Jennifer. Hey, you will see that there is a very nice little kitchen. If you want to go make some omelets or whatever, you can do that. Okay, I just got back from France. And we were on the quest for the perfect omelet. My brother, and my husband, and I. So we always making omelets lately. But if you want to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water, just kind of breathe, whatever it is you need to do. That's back that way. And then if you just kept looping around, you would see the restrooms right there. So when you came in, you would have gone straight, you would have seen the restrooms. And yeah, welcome to the yoga tree. Is this anybody's first time here ever? Okay, yay. So about almost 20 years ago, right, Jennifer? Maybe we 18, right, but when we were sitting outside of the birthing center.
Yeah.
The birthing center, that was 18 years ago, okay. So
Because we opened 18 years ago.
Exactly.
And we were still under construction.
Yeah, and I had Shanti Yoga Studio up in McAllen. I started that in 2000. So anyway, Jennifer, I had a teacher training. Jennifer came to the teacher training. I'm married, and did whether 200, 300, and she was also birthing. We always think that's kind of cool because it was her little studio. The yoga tree was in the birthing center, which is now where you get mammograms, whatever it's called. That's where I go. Anyway, so she was telling me about this concept and picking out the name and all that stuff. And so when I ran my teacher training, Shanti teacher training, it was still up in McCall, but we would come down here, and Bill is shaking his head because he was in that program, and this is where we did our teacher training. And when COVID, dealt everybody that big blow, we kind of went underground. We just went online, and so so now we're back here again. So it feels very cozy and fun. I'm really glad you guys could all be here for it because it is a special connection. So I am Debbie Murphy. In case you haven't met me before, I don't think I've met you. So, and not some of you in person, just online. But my background is in, first of all, I'm going to try to be really quick about this. I started out as I was an activist. I was, in the 60s, I was in junior high and high school, and it was just, I graduated in 1970, so that you can see how old I am. But I was just really into activism. Went away to college, and I was going to save the world, so I became an English major. But I was really into the transcendentalists, who are the people that are all about living a determined life and empowering people and all that kind of stuff. So that was my thing. But then I was like, I need to do something other than study poetry. So I studied, first of all, counseling psychology, and I worked as a counselor for a year, but it was too daunting for me at the time. I needed something to ground me, so I went on into exercise physiology. So that is what, to me, is grounding the practice. I was telling some of you earlier that in this practice that we're having today, we're going to start out with our body, because that does give us that kind of, it's helping us to feel safe, to feel supported. And so we will start with some things like that, and then we'll just travel on and see where we end up going with it. But to begin with, just coming into your own body and feel the feels. I have been calling this pose now, I'm in a seated pose, but you could be seated or your legs out in front of you or whatever. But feel as if from your waist down through your legs, you are rooted. You're rooted into the earth. As you breathe in from your nostrils, you are sending energy down into your roots so that you get more comfortable, more secure. You feel the support of the Mother Earth beneath you. And then that support allows you to begin to move upward a little bit more through your spine, your heart, your shoulders, your face, your crown. So just feeling that nexus right there in the middle of your navel, between connection with the earth and above it, rising up towards the sky. And then as you are connecting with the earth, notice what you feel beneath you. Notice your hips, your legs, your toes, or whatever it is that you're sitting on. How does that feel? What do you recognize about that helps you feel more connected? It's so cool that Jennifer named this place the Yoga Tree, because that is what's kind of at the heart of all of this practice, connecting to our roots. And then as you begin to be here, you might take in a few more sounds. You might hear your own breathing. You might hear the sound of the circulation system. You might feel the temperature on your skin. And just know that we're all here, coming with something, different kind of baggage, different kinds of things that have happened this morning. But we're all here in this safe space to learn more about ourselves, to help ourselves be more empowered within our own body. Our own body is always seeking balance, seeking homeostasis. And if we can be more open to that information, we can live a life that is more, again, back to transcendentalists, our life, our determined life. So let's take a few more cycles of breath. I'm going to add a different element to all of this now. And this is a directionality about our breathing. As you inhale, of course, your breath is moving into your nostrils. And when it moves into your nostrils, of course, then it travels down through your throat, into your chest, into your belly. Well, because your chest expands, your belly expands. And then up and out. This process of breathing down through your throat is activating what's called the vagus nerves. There's two, one on the left, one on the right. And they begin way up there, close to your brainstem. They're the longest nerve train in the body. Most of the cranial nerves are stopping shortly after they come out of the brainstem. But this nerve travels all the way down to your gut, all the way down to your lower intestines, and then travels back up and out. And if you think of your breath right now as if you're a beloved pet and you are being stroked on the back, like your beloved, I won't say owner, I don't think people own dogs, but it's stroking that nerve train, stroking from your center of your brain down your throat, down past your lungs, your heart, your belly, all the way down into the intestines. It's a loving, compassionate nerve train. It's part of what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, if you are aware of the nervous system. It helps to calm you. It helps to stimulate that action of compassion, not just within you, but towards other people. You might begin to practice a little bit of Ujjayi breathing, which is to slightly narrow the channel at your throat, so your breath has a little bit more of it's like strengthened, like water going through boulders. You might go ahead and even make a sigh as you exhale out. Beginning to hear a little bit more fearlessly your own voice. I think it's especially interesting that the two chakras that have to do with your authenticity, your voice, are the one down in your low belly, your gut, where the vagus nerve ends, and up in the throat where the vagus nerve really is starting to initiate. Why don't we take one hand to our low belly right now, take the other one to your throat, and just feel yourself breathing here, the vagus nerve stimulated. When you're ready, we're going to go ahead and join together in the sound of Om because it feels good. If you don't want to do it, if it feels better just to listen, that's great too. But we'll feel as we're Oming together a little bit like we're riding a wave. And my teacher, Eric Shipman, says we're all like individual waves in that ocean of waves. We'll feel a little bit like we're joining together in this big surf of the wave of our own voices, our own vibration. So we're just kind of becoming accustomed to exhaling out your mouth. Let's go ahead now and bring our hands together, palms together in Anjali Mudra. And this has been done in fact, I'd like you to imagine that you're in a circle of yogis 4,000 years ago, and you're sitting around a campfire, and you finally have enough freedom in your life that you can sit around a campfire. You have time, you're not being chased by saber-toothed tigers or whatever right now. You can sit and think, okay? What they started doing back then, they recognized the importance of stillness and of connected stillness, of coming together. And they celebrated this connection with the sound of Om. The sound acknowledges that we're all connected. We're connected with all living things. We're connected with all elements of the earth. We're all connected. In fact, the true sin is to believe that we're not. So to celebrate that knowledge, that wisdom, they join together in an Om. So we'll bring our palms together. We'll take a deep inhale, hold it for a moment, and then exhale with an Om if you'd like. Here we go. Take a deep inhale. Riding the wave of vibration, riding the wave of our place in this infinite cycle of life. Let's do it again. 2 more times. How's that? Deep inhale. Bring one hand to your heart, take the other hand right on top of that hand, and just feel yourself breathing here. Your body is your friend, even though sometimes it doesn't act like it or you don't think it is always seeking balance, always seeking homeostasis. So right here, taking a moment of gratitude to your body. Gratitude for trying its best to find that balance and sometimes overreacting a little bit. But we'll talk about that in a moment. And then I like to begin my classes like this, just to remind us, since we are part of this honorable, sacred heritage of yogis, to bring our palms together. First, from the Anjali Mudra, we're going to keep our pinky and thumb together. Keep the heel of your hand there too. And spread your fingers out into what's called the Lotus Mudra. The Lotus Mudra indicates to all yogis that we all have some mud and muck that we have to put up with. But we can sometimes use that mud and muck to grow stronger, to become more resilient. And then as we raise our hands overhead, taking it up, to be the light, to share the light. As Paramahansa Yogananda says, to live joyfully, even amidst the sorrows of the world. So we can be of help to others. And then separate your hands, palms face up. And in this shape, let's lift our heart up a little bit and bring your elbows in a little closer towards your waist. So you can begin to feel a little bit more open in the heart center. Everybody's different with their shoulders. I especially recognize this because I have, at my age, developed really bad shoulder girdles. So this is mine. Some of you might have your thumbs way back much further. But just feel how you are in this open place. Honor your own uniqueness. That's your dharma. Now take your fingertips behind you in your mouth, and we're going to lift up our heart a little bit. Take a deep inhale, and we're going to exhale in 2 puffs like this. And this next time, as you do that double exhale, see if you can feel a little bit like you are getting rid of something that feels like it's kind of nagging at you right now. So you can come in to this practice with a little bit more freedom. Deep inhale, exhale. And one more time, inhale. And then we'll just come back and plant the back of your hands on your knees. This might be a good time if you feel a need to move your legs or do something. We've been here for quite a while. It might be that you want to take one leg out or whatever feels good. But just give yourself a little bit of a shake, okay? So we kind of started out in sort of a formalish way. We did some the Om and all that. But I want to, now that we're all here, just really remind you that this is an open practice. We're here as searchers, as learners. We're all here on equal footing. I'm going to be guiding a little bit, but please, if ever there's something you want to jump in and share, do. If you ever feel like, I want to go out and sit in the other room for a while, there's a couch, there's all kinds of other places that can give you comfort, but this is a really sacred space, and I want you to feel comfortable. And that said, if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, don't do it. And also just honor that your body is trying to take care of you as we're in this practice together. Would anybody like to share anything at this moment? I don't know if anybody, I know some of you just kind of walked in. Does anybody have anything they want to share here? Okay, how about we do this really quickly? We're not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm just going to start back with Jennifer, and then we'll go over to Mary, and then just kind of circle like this, and just say your name, just so we kind of can use our voice. Is that okay? Just
My name is Jennifer Knight. I've been in Shanti Yoga program since when? 2000?
2000 for sure. The first class was 2008.
Yeah. 2008.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah. She had to drive up to McCall all the time.
Yeah, that was back in the day when it was all over McCall, and my studio was built, and I need to bring her training down here. And so she's been here ever since.
And they'd stay at my house up in the mountains, and we'd big log cabin and sleep on the floor, and it was amazing.
Yeah, so to have it on that, it's like, especially in teacher training like this, I feel coming into communities like this is so vital because it is part of the training of yoga. It's how do we, remove our own obstructions and be a member of the community.
Yeah, because we are a community. Even if it's the community of living entities right this minute, we are part of a community. And this practice, as I said at the beginning, can be help us be a benevolent aspect to that community. So we're not being at odds with each other. So thank you. Okay.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I do my background here.
Thank you. And she lives in Star. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just Louise. I also live in Star. I was thinking very nice. You're purple.
Yeah.
I live in Texas, but I just started my certification this summer, so I'm in the middle of that.
I'm operating. I'm really lonely, so I'm doing the opposite. Came down this morning,
Yeah.
and I started a 200 program recently. So
Yeah.
this is simple.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Lisa, I'm a Shakti Yoga teacher training alumni from 11 years ago,
Yeah. Went to Mexico with us.
10 years ago.
Yeah, that was really fun. I'm so glad to have you back. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Liz. I just met Debbie recently. I thought about doing yoga teacher training for a long time, so this is me dipping my toe in the waters.
I'm in the water.
Thank you.
I'm Jessica Becker. I'm in the 200 teacher training program at Shanti, and I just drove from Tampa.
Yeah, that's far enough sometimes with all the traffic. So, thank you.
Really Lyle. I've been in June, probably since about 2009. I teach here as well. And
He's a great guy.
Trying to make up some hours this week.
Yeah. Well, we love you being around, so thank you. And Bill has an amazing class here that I would highly recommend. So, yeah.
Yes, I'm the newcomer. My name is Ashley. I did my yoga training in 2020 during COVID at Boise. And practiced for like a good 5 to 6 years consistently. Lost my way a little bit, and now I'm finding my way back to doing that. And I'm trying to just tap into not such a structured sequence all the time, and I'm just trying to let myself be free and guide myself and take my heart and creativity where it wants to go, which is new for me. So here I am.
Good. Oh, that's awesome to hear. That's what yeah. Want to talk about it no, I want to talk about that at some point. Yeah, we'll get back to flow and doing your own thing. So.
And I'm Arnie, no teacher training at all, I'm just a student here, so with that in Jen, so here we are.
Yes, and it's your turn, April.
Oh, okay. I'm April, and I'm in the 200-hour yoga training, and I'm grateful to be here.
Well, we're grateful to have you here. Thank you. And last but not least,
I'm in the 200-hour teacher training and came in from Boise. Not as far as possible.
Hold on, I'm the only person not in teacher
is that true?
I'm not in it.
training.
Everybody's going. We're all in.
Or maybe I am now.
Yes, that's true.
And so it begins.
Yes, that's right.
We're gonna have to meet, so let's go.
Yeah, oh, that'd be awesome. And over here we have Marcy, who is in Kansas City right now, but I met her and she was living in Maui, surfer girl, and now we discovered that we both grew up in Kansas City, and she's back there now with her family. And anyway, Marcy, if you want to write something out, or text me or something, I can read to them. And then we also have Carly, who is in, Carly, you're in Salmon, right? So she's not here. And then we have Haley, who just right before started sneezing and couldn't stop. So she's going to try to do this, but who knows? But she didn't think it'd be right for her to be sitting in the middle of all of us sneezing. So that's that. So I think I introduced myself a little bit, talked about my plan of how I got to where I am with yoga. I'm going to make sure that and here she is. Thank you, Marcy. She's been a cardiac RN for 20 years, and she's ready to transition out of the hospital. She's opening of a medical spa in Kansas City, which is a beautiful city. And they now have a women's soccer team and all that kind of stuff. That's really great. And she's finishing up her yoga certification. She started it a while ago. So I guess it's still just you. Yeah, the pressure would be on. But I want to say that yoga isn't just what you think of. I know you all know that here. Yoga is not just getting into shapes, and it's not as specific. That's why, like what you said, it's not a certain routine. In fact, the routine that we think of, like as the sun salutations, that actually came from I'm Swedish, so so maybe I'm kind of prejudiced, but it came from a military training that they were doing in at this time of the world in the 1800s. There were a lot of different physical fitness regimens going on, and it came from the Swedish platform. And then what we're doing now that some people are so dogmatic about, that really the first sun salutations as we see them were probably in the very late 1800s, right, Bill? And Bill's kind of the student par excellence of yoga history, so please correct me if any of these dates wrong. So anyway, that's let's get that out of there right now, that we want to learn how to respect our body, how to move our body in a way that is in alignment with our true nature and is in alignment with the good of humanity and is in alignment with balance. But there's many, many ways to do this. And the asanas were one that one lineage came up with in all the different shapes. When I first started taking yoga classes, my teachers back then were saying, well, some ancient yogi 5,000 years ago had a vision of somebody standing in tree pose, and it just happened because they're good physical fitness things. They help our posture. When we align our posture, our physical body, that helps our mind align more, that helps our spirit align more. So the physicality of the practice is just one aspect of it. And the physicality, not just being your movement, but your breath and your mind. The mind-body connection acknowledges the fact that we are a mind-body being. We're not just, our brain isn't sitting up here like the wizard and dictating everything. The body talks to the mind talks to the body. And I want to make sure I don't get off track. What we're going to really talk about is how we can use this fact of the mind-body connection to help us live a more, I don't want to say emboldened, awakened, we can be in charge of ourselves instead of being victims to our bodies, to our minds, to our emotions. We can start to learn ways that will make it, we can live a life that, as the Transcendentalists say, is more our true nature, you know. Joseph Campbell's very important work with the hero's journey. I was telling some of these guys that came early, I'm redoing the manual to represent my own background in what my doctor was about in embarking on a journey. But he always talked about the call being the first step, the call to come home to yourself and to listen to yourself. And then as he goes on the journey, is anybody here familiar with Joseph Campbell? Yeah, as he goes on the journey, he meets all kinds of different adventures and obstacles and all that. But he does, those obstacles do become his way to enlightenment, okay, to live the awakened life. So the empowered life. So in our own body, we get stressed, of course, you know, because it's part of, it started out, as I say in that little handout that some of you got and some of you didn't, but back to sitting around the fire as if we were, and if I've thought about this before everybody walked in, I probably have us sitting around in a circle, but if you imagine again that you're sitting around the fire back 5,000 years ago, and you're talking to each other and you're going, man, you know, my crops just failed and I worked so hard, my cow, you know, isn't producing milk, chickens are getting eaten by the foxes, the Great Danes are protecting the chickens, you know, things are happening. How can we deal with this roller coaster called life? And really, through coming together and hearing the call being, how can we collectively together sit in the pause, become present, and ascertain how we can do this, how to move forward, how can we get off the roller coaster of life and take more control. And of course, we can't control the weather, we can't control things from the outside, but we can control our reactions. So our body doesn't react and hurt us as much as it sometimes does. So, so they sat around the fire and they contemplated and they talked. And so you can just imagine yourself right now doing that, sitting around a fire, warm fire. All the saber-toothed tigers are put away, they're gone. You don't have to worry about them. The weather's nice, it's not raining. They're just settling in there. And my guess is as they sat there, they became more and more aware of them their own bodily functions. They came into closer awareness of breathing. They felt themselves breathing as we did at the very beginning before we owned. And they noticed that it seemed that this changed their body to a degree. And you might want right now, just put your hand on your heart, either hand that you want, just feeling the rising and dropping of your hand as you inhale and exhale. And visualize at the same time the rising and falling of your brain waves. So your brain wave and your breathing wave begin to move in conjunction, in harmony. They tend to slow down a little bit. We talked about that sense of stroking that vagus nerve that emanates from your brainstem, moving down through your throat, down through your spine, down into your gut. Feel as if your breath is doing that very action, calming you down. And take your hand down and just rest and open up your eyes. And try not to freak out, is what my teacher Eric Schiffer would say. He'd have us sit like that and just be, and then say, okay, now we're going to open our eyes. Try not to freak out when you see other people. But there is for a moment that little bit of a disconnect when you come out of that. Just kind of noticing that. I asked my husband if he would come in after I did this and go, but he said, Debbie, I don't think that's a very good thing to do. So, and it isn't, that would not be, I don't want to scare you. But this is what happens with the HPA loop. So if you have that picture, so you've already pictured the vagus nerve coming down to the center axis of your body. And it's called the vagus nerve. Do you know why it's called the vagus nerve? Does anybody here know why? It's such a good reason. It comes from the Latin word vagabond or wanderer. The Latin word is wanderer. And so they call it the vagus nerve because it wanders, it wanders from your throat and it touches all these organs as it moves down. And so it's a vagabond, a wandering route. And so when that's happening, it's calming down your organs, it's calming down your nervous system, it's calming down everything. That's what it does. If you look at that diagram, you can see I have the different the things that are happening. Your heart rate is slowing. Your digestion is slowing. You feel more open to social engagement. Okay. There's somebody else on. So I don't think I have them either.
Oh, I have the other one. I just have this one.
Okay, good. All right. So, the parasympathetic indicators are you might start to feel more calm. You might just feel more warm. You might experience slower breathing. So your neural pathways are shifting into what's called rest and digest. It's a really, really, really important state of being. It's where we fix ourselves. And again, being an exercise physiologist, this is where you get stronger. That I learned. It's not even breaking down the tissues. As you're working out, it's in the rest that your body repairs itself to get stronger. So I was looking at Doug, and I don't want to make you do anything here, but you were doing some cool things. Doug does Qigong. So would you, I'm going to give you a minute to think that, would you mind in a moment standing up and doing just some gentle things with people? And if anybody else comes from a different modality, I think it's great to bring in different modalities. That's why I wanted Ashley to jump on board with what you were saying is that, yoga is not it's open. It's an open system. It's always open to evolving, always open to changing. That is at the heart of it. It's not dogmatic. And I guess, people say, oh, well, people are appropriating yoga. I don't think it's that's so bad. I think it's that when you make it so dogmatic that it's like, well, I can't do that because I don't know the whole Sanskrit language yet, So I think it's really good if people want to, add more things. So are there any questions about that system, the vagus nerve? Okay. So on the other hand, if you look at your handout, there's what's called the HPA axis. And there's a couple drawings. They're not fabulous. There's one kind of in the middle where you can kind of see. And that shows what the loop is like with that one. That's our fight or flight response. That's the sympathetic response. And that's what happens if my husband would have walked in here and said, "Boo," or something like that. We would have all immediately been like, ah, and that HPA loop would be sending out chemicals to get our body to fight, to run, to freeze, whatever it is, and sending out those chemicals. Now, back in the day, we needed those. We needed to run from danger. We needed to be able to deal with famine. So that's why, when people are sometimes are constantly in that loop, they actually start hoarding, their body starts saying, we need to keep all this fat on us. We need to keep, because we might have reached famine sometime. But our systems, our body is pretty much the same. It hasn't evolved that much from so long ago. And we still, the HPA loop, and if you have time to read it, I'll just tell you quickly. It usually comes around, it depends on your own genetics, around every 30 minutes, where we're kind of like, isn't there something I'm supposed to be worried about? Shouldn't I be checking in on something? We just naturally do that. And then so some of us, it gets very addictive and we get really caught up in it. We feel like we have to do something. We have to turn our notifications on, or we have to drink more coffee. I'm not saying anything's wrong with coffee, but you know what I mean. We all do things to help adapt to that. But yoga, in all its forms, in the form of meditation, all the different asanas, in the form of breathing, in the form mainly of philosophy, of the yoga ethics, namas and niyamas, can help us not react every 30 minutes. It can help that loop to take longer to come about. It can help our vagus nerve to be more balanced. They're supposed to be balanced. They're supposed to be equal. But we live in a world now where it's even harder for them to be balanced because we have so many distractions. So anything anybody want to say about that? Does that all make sense, kind of? I think it's interesting to know, if you look at your picture of the HPA loop, it's a hypothalamus, pituitary, which are kind of in the middle of your brain, and down to your pituitary glands down here. So, just kind of, that's that loop. And they really, I have that one drawing there to show they're kind of close-ish and coming from kind of the same general area, but they work to balance each other. Okay, and that's what we're going to be trying to do. And I would venture to guess that a lot of other, around that same time, there was a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, other traditions, Chinese medicine, and then as we get into yoga's, when the Bhagavad Gita was written and the Yoga Sutras, earlier, closer to like 600 BCE, 200 BCE, there was so much in the whole world going on about using our body to heal ourselves. So yeah, it's not just yogis, but that's what we're kind of, that's our avenue, most of us here. Okay, so would you like to do a little something with your cheek on? I think that would be really nice.
So one of the things I have discovered as I've gone through the yoga training and readings is it dovetails with a lot of the different modalities that I've studied. Qigong is one of them. I'm also a Cherokee shaman in training. Well, actually, I finished on that. But I've gone through shamanistic work, energetic work, and just working with energy in general, it all kind of. One of the things with Qigong is it's a healing modality, and it's harvesting the qi or energy into yourself to be able to use it to heal yourself or others. And part of that harvesting is working with the dantian, which is kind of like bonus.
It is,
It's the
especially.
same focus of the three areas. And so Debbie sees me quite often in my relaxations. As I'm doing breathing exercises, I'm pushing down the energy into my dantian and harvesting. Another thing that is when we're doing this, I like to knock on the door to kind of wake up the kidneys and get everything going. But if you take your hands and bring them together, see if you can feel the energy that is pulsing between your hands. As you expand out, you can feel that pull apart, sort of like you would with two magnets pushing and pulling against each other. So take a deep breath in and bring those hands together and feel that energy pulse together. Now rotate your hands around in a circle and feel like you've got a marble between your hands. You mind if I touch?
Yeah.
So, pull apart just a little bit. So now you feel that energy that's pulsing between you. Expand it out. Your hands out. Feel it expand. And push it together and feel it contract and warm. So you can feel that energy. So you do the same thing by pulling that energy out and in within your dantian. So think of what I consider to be a horse stance. You could bring your palms together in front of you. Breathe in and expand out. And feel that energy collecting. And then breathe out and collapse it and harvest it within your dantian. So you can feel yourself energizing yourself. Go ahead and relax. Let that energy soak through your body. One other thing that I tend to do with Qigong is after each pose or each motion, we do a clearing cycle. So we bring our arms out above our heads and then bring it down through the channel of the center to clear it out and push it down into the earth. Pull it up, bring it down through the channel of the center and back into the earth. We've got one more time to finalize the clearing. And then return to normal breathing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. And how'd that feel? Good. Feels good, doesn't it? I actually have been incorporating that because you in one class, one of our teacher trainings, I think you were in my class recently, where maybe I didn't remember about this, this just feels good. It's kind of touching yourself. Yeah, there's so much that we can bring from other traditions to this. Do you have anything you want to share from the Cherokee shamanic?
It's a lot of it is just the same energies. It's just called different things. So as you kind of explore the different modalities that are out there, you find that there's keys of truth that we all call different things, but it's all along the same lines. And within the shamanistic work that I do, a lot of it is with chakras. It's all the energy centers. So it's clearing those individually as I go through a full cleansing, or if I'm working on I do Reiki as well. So if I'm working on a patient or a client, I just take them through the different chakras and help clean it out and reintegrate it all as one. So it's just, it all combines together. And it's been interesting because, when I started talking about yoga and Tai Chi or Qigong, I get these ads that are popping up like, hey, we've got a class that combines the two.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And we had, I guess it was about 6 months ago, we had another person in the group, a guy that was into shamanic, two, and then one was into Irish. Sweeney, was into the Irish. So,
Druidic.
yeah, it was really, the Druid. So, I mean, I just think that's really important. Back again to just, we're part of the flow. It's not, but we are bringing brand to it, and not brand, but we're bringing some techniques that will help the greater good. So that's kind of.
Yeah, and I tend to do like, I don't know, using the word, but it's like the elements. And so when I'm doing it into Warrior, I sometimes bring in the water flow from Qigong to smooth out the transition.
So does everybody know about the 5 elements, what the 5 elements are? And it sounds like everything we keep talking about, the good earth. And
Fire, water, earth, air,
and the
and
air.
spirit.
Yeah, spirit. So, and again,
That's
that's,
recognized in the Ayurvedic approach of yoga and sister science.
Yeah.
It's in every element or every philosophy or practice, like this Tai Chi, Chinese.
chakra system. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this all really reflected in psychology. I know a number of you are, involved with psychology, counseling in different venues, social work. So yeah, it's a familiar place to drop into once you start really seeing the connectedness of all of it. And our bodies are connected too. So I think, anybody have anything else they want to bring to that right now? I'm going to have us stand up if you all feel comfortable doing that, and since we were standing up just a moment ago, Jennifer's going to be doing some very specific or really cool stuff with pranayama, right, Jennifer?
You did the things, so there'll be some movement and visual.
Cool. But keeping this in mind and keeping in mind how you are feeling with those two systems, if you just kind of think within your body right now, you have those two loops kind of working together with each other. You have the sympathetic nervous system that got you up off the floor and has you sturdily standing here. And then you have the parasympathetic that's reminding you to be relaxed, and we can use both of these together. I really like to use, again, the idea of a tree because it is, because there's a tree right there, and it's just so much part of the space, and it's so much part of the science. But again, just feeling from your navel down, your legs are rooted into the earth, and really the more you root down, the more above your navel, you feel like you can expand out. So I'm sure you've all seen those diagrams. They usually come about on Earth Day where you see the tree below and above the earth. So the tree above the earth is, of course, the trunk and branching out, and the roots beneath the earth are doing kind of the same thing. And so it just reminds you how important those two elements are. So as you just are here for a moment, we're going to take our hands up and feel a little bit like right now, you are a tree. Your arms are above your, the ground. Your spine is the trunk, and your legs are the roots. And we're going to go ahead and do this breathing action. If you want to keep your eyes open at first, just to see, but I'll describe it as well as I can. So we're going to take our palms facing out. So towards the people behind, to the side of you. Yeah, it's like this. Palms face those side walls. Our palms face the side walls. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to just inhale down and bend our knees and come way down. And as you exhale, press your palms up and just. Okay, now just really feel how that's working in your own body. Imagine that the air, you can just suck in the air. It's coming down your throat, down into your heart, expanding your belly, moving to all different cells, and then exhale. It's moving up and out to the limbs, into the leaves, but also into the space around it. Okay? Now we're going to think of this, we're going to do this 5 times. As you inhale, feel yourself really mainly inhaling down your back body and really anchoring your tail a little bit more. And as you exhale, feel yourself coming up and off your heels, maybe even jumping a little bit. So inhale down, exhale. Maybe just kind of feel how that feels to just maybe you'll bounce around a little bit. Okay? And then we'll come on back down. And we're just going to pause for a moment, a little bit. I was in the other room, but a little bit like what you were doing. Just kind of feel your heart open by bringing your palms facing up towards the sky, elbows at your waist. This is called, Max Strong calls this horse stance, but it's like a really big horse. Okay, so just feeling that action. And just take a moment to address something that you'd like to release from your life. Something, maybe it's a fear, maybe it's the constant chatter that you have telling yourself that you're no good or whatever. Just think of something that you would like to erase, and we're just going to kind of blow it out of the water. Here we go. So coming up with that one thing. Okay, imagine in front of us, we're still back with those ancient yogis, and we're sitting around the fire, and that fire represents Lord Vairava, who's the most fierce of all the forms of Shiva, Shiva being the remover of obstacles. We're going to all together collectively throw that whatever into that big fire. Just visualizing that. Here we go. We're going to breathe down, inhale, and exhale. Throw it in the fire. Okay, let's do that one more time. We're going to add a mantra to it in a minute. Okay, now we're going to take our thumbs out, and it's like we're making a fist with our hands, but our thumb is going to be facing up towards the ceiling. This is called the fire mudra, and it kind of feels, and it's also just a really powerful hand position. So just feeling that, if you want, you can still be riding your horse, and just squeezing your hands tight into that little fist, and even maybe squeezing your elbows in a little bit more in your shoulders. Just kind of take a deep inhale, and then here we go. We're going to say a chant. It's like this. We'll do it 3 times. Om Pat, Svaha, Svaha, Svaha. 3 times. Om Pat, Svaha, Svaha, Svaha. Om Pat, Svaha, Svaha, Svaha. Om Pat, Svaha, Svaha, Svaha. Big inhale. Be gone. And then just take a moment and kind of shake your body. You might do that side to side where you let your arms kind of hit your kidneys there. Maybe shake it another way. And just notice how you have felt during that little physical thing. Okay? We all might feel something different. So there is a book by a guy named Sapolsky. Does anybody know the book I'm talking about? Why zebras don't get ulcers?
No.
Yeah. So that's why it said that a lot of animals, and we're animals with just, different forms. What's that? Yeah. We are, don't do this kind of stuff as much, like we don't shake and do this and all that, and it just builds up, and that's just what's building up in with that HPA. And the things that we did, the more flowy things we do, and shaking out, talking sometimes to people, that can help stimulate the vagus system. So I want to say something else about that. Well, why they don't get ulcers. They don't get ulcers because they can let go. And to get at that hypothesis, they did nighttime video of animals that were preyed upon. And of course, the most classic one was opossums. And the opossum, when a predator was coming, they freeze, they play possum. And then as soon as the possum, that's why I was having you do that tightening thing. As soon as the possum leaves, they go, they shake it off and just, can go on their way. So that's where they, with multiple testings and all that, that's where he got some of his research. Anybody else have anything to share along that lines? Because I know some of you guys are studying a lot of this too, so. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, we're going to say what I wasn't doing, but I'm just feeling that we're okay with this. We're going to go into partners and just, with the loving kindness meta, just give your partner the loving kindness meta. So, April, to Doug, you can go around to Ashley and just pick a partner and just, here, I'll do it. How many people are in here, so I'll make sure everybody has. Why don't you do it, and I'll do it. Oh, okay, so I'm going to look in your eyes, okay? And I'm going to give you my idea of loving kindness that is. April, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you have a life of joy and ease, may you be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May you be at peace. And then you can give me your, just what you feel is loving kindness. Okay. Anything else? Say, Thank you.
How about you?
Yeah.
So it's just pretty much just
There's many ways of saying.
and it's called meta.
So. We did this with, I don't know if you were at a workshop with that, it was Walker. Do you remember, to everybody in the room?
Always there.
Yeah. It's really powerful what happens. I don't know if you all know. We certainly did, and when you're in a space like that, people, or people that don't know, this is weird, but you have, it just makes it entertaining. Yeah. And that's the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your vagus nerve that we want to tap into. So there's many different ways to do it. We kind of talked about some kind words, saying, sharing compassion, movement. You know, some of the movement we do, like this one was kind of, it was forceful, it was more sympathetic, but then when it was over, it was kind of, yeah, so.
It's kind of like what we do with healing.
Yeah.
We just open up, it's my heart to your heart,
Yeah,
and just let the energy flow.
yeah.
You like
Yeah, yes,
you know,
yes, it does. And to look someone in the eyes, yeah. Yeah. So yes, we have techniques that yoga, that's why yoga is so fabulous, because it is born out of this space where people were contemplating, and it was born out of the pause. The pause is where we really find presence. The very beginning sentence in the Yoga Sutras is Atha Yoga Anusashana, which means the practice of yoga begins now. It's now. It's not, oh, when I, you know, when I have my, when I'm more fit or when I'm whatever, it's happening right now. And so that's why that pause is, and being present in the pause is so very important. So, yeah, I wanted to do that. Let you guys pause for a moment. Let me make sure we're okay. We still have half an hour. So, anybody wants to do a quick break, but I'm gonna do the second part of the, throwing something in the trash, throwing something in the fire in just a minute, so. There's water out there if anybody wants. And, if anybody has any questions? Sure. Yeah.
Do you want to answer?
Sure, Ted. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh, and there's a skeleton right there, yeah.
She on the board up there, really teaching Tuesday?
You want to?
Yeah, oh, it's an amazing, it's really great. Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, I think you really like it.
Well, I was off the mat for quite a while, except for 2 or 3 days a week, I would do some scientific, but when COVID hit, I went into a cocoon, and it's been slow coming out.
It's hard for a lot of people, you know, to come out of that. But especially worried about kids. But yeah, well, it's regular Bill, Sarah, Jill, Summer, Colby, Jennifer. Yeah.
Try to make it this week.
Jason,
Oh, this week I might not be able to make it. I have the next week, I'm doing my colonoscopy on Wednesday, so I don't know if I can video it or phone prep.
oh,
The fun part. Not advisable.
I have to do that.
Yeah, it's next Tuesday.
Yeah, this is something you guys are doing, a little physical stuff, this is probably nice time to do that. Oh, the 2 star girls. Just doing a yeah.
I so wish this was a frog instead of a penguin. I got it before the frog got as popular.
Oh.
The resistance frog. Right. No, well, except for the zoo. They're amazing little animals. They're loved for each other. They're a couple. I watched Little People a lot when it came out. Memorized it pretty much.
So that was cool. I'm just asking for everybody, I'm gonna just take a little bit of flow. So, just, if you have any things that you need to take care of, like your shoulders and things like that, also that, it's gonna be very gentle and still just know that you have to take care of yourself, mentally and physically, and spiritually. Let's see how these guys are doing. Okay. When we come back, this is what we'll do. Yeah, let's do that. What we'll do is a really gentle, really slow, bent knee, sun salutation, A, which is just stepping 1 foot back, and then bring the other foot back, and then 1 foot forward, and that halfway is standing up. So we'll start with that, and then, one thing I want to emphasize, back with what Ashley said. Oh, you did, sorry. Yeah. It's really important just to slow it We're gonna go ahead and start this. So everybody let's come to standing positions at the front of your mat. And what I was going to say is I'm going to take you through a very old classic Acharya's days, sun salutation. But please feel free to do what feels good to you. If you are just kind of really wanting to just come up and, you know, whatever feels good, it's going to be, I just want to move a little bit. And then we're going to move into a warrior, a couple of warriors, so that we can feel again that sense of power and strength and release. And then we'll release that, okay? So we're just going to stand at the front end of our mat and come into what you feel is let's call it a tree stance. I mean, not the classic tree, but just again, just to feel that from your navel into your legs, you are strong, you are rooted. And then let your upper body lengthen upward. Now from here, it might be that you want to do a more classic beginning by bringing your feet hip distance, or in some lineages, they bring your big toes together, and you might want to bring your hands to your heart. But do what feels good to you. You do you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I would like us to think about that breathing that we've been doing. Breathe down your back body. So imagine that you have a cocoon or a sheet, S-H-E-A-T-H, that you're wrapping around your spine. You're going to feel like you're breathing down the back body, sheathing the back of your body, and then exhale up the front of your body. So you're making kind of like a sheath or a cocoon for your spine. Breathe down your back body, breathe up your front body. You'll probably notice that as you breathe up your front body, you're going to feel almost like zipping up, lifting up. And that is associated with the bondage in your body. That lifting up from your pelvic floor, actually from the arch of your feet, up to your pelvic floor, up to your lower belly, up to your diaphragm, up to the back of your throat, all the way up. And as you inhale, you lengthen all the way down the back body. So just feeling that kind of move of energy, cocooning your spine. Okay? So when we begin, we're going to take an inhale, bringing our hands up any amount. They could go out to the side, or if you want, you can take them up and overhead. I would suggest that you don't dive from your hinge at the top of your legs with your arms out in front of you, and I'll explain why later, but just stay up and bring your hands into your heart center. Pause, and we're going to hinge at the top of our legs, but bend your knees a little bit so that when you come halfway forward, it's a little bit like you're taking a little bow, okay? So just taking a little half bow. We're gonna inhale back up, take your hands back up towards the sky. Exhale, bring your hands back to your center. This time we're going to bend our knees and come down towards the floor with our hands. We're in a forward fold this time. Inhale, come up halfway again. You can take your arms out to the side or bring in towards your heart, but again, just right now, let's not take them out in front of you. I'll explain all this later. And then we're going to come on down, take your fingertips to the floor, step your right foot back towards the back end of your mat, point your right toes to the front right corner of your mat, and then we're going to rise on up into Virabhadrasana 1. So right arm comes up, left arm comes up, or they do what they want to do. But we're going to feel the power of this shape. We're going to feel the strength of this shape, the courage that is ignited in your body. You might even kind of firm it up a little bit, really stretching your arms up. Still feel the inhale going down your back body, lifting up your front body. Powerful warrior. Feeling that action. Bring your hands back into your heart center. Take a deep inhale, exhale, take your hands back down to the floor. Step your left foot back to your right, coming into down facing dog. If you want to come forward into plank and chaturanga and up dog, do. Or if you prefer, lower to your knees and come back into extended child or half dog. When you're ready, we'll come back up. This time, bringing our right foot in front of us, anchoring our left heel, coming up into our Virabhadrasana 1. Feel the power, strong. You might think of that thing that you want to slay in your life, that thing that also you want to get rid of. So just really feeling that action, powerful pose. And then when you're ready, we'll come on back down. We're going to take our hands to the ground. And this time we bring our left foot up next to our right. We inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, come up. And into eagle standing pose. Just balancing there. Breathing. So we're gonna go do it with the other side, so powerful squat. Or half forward fold, feel the spine lengthen. Bend your knees, come back up into powerful squat. This time exhale all the way into forward fold. Hands to the ground, step your left foot back, right foot stays forward, coming up into Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, coming back down. Again, if you want, you could come through down dog, plank, up dog, or whatever feels good to you. And then we'll just take our left foot forward, right heel down, and then exhale into your heart. And then just hold for a moment. Now notice your heart rate. You might take your hand to your heart. You might feel that it's moving a little bit more. Yeah, beating a little bit harder. Take a few cycles of breath. That's your sympathetic nervous system. Is it a bad thing? No. That's how we do things. That's how we roll as human beings. We have to get up and go to work and plow the fields and all that stuff. We're going to do this one more time, and I'm going to add a little intention setting in it, okay? So this time, I'm actually going to take you into Warrior 2. So I think I'm going to have us come to the middle of your back face this way. So we don't have time to come. So come facing this way, we're going to do a moon salutation, okay? So moon salutation, here we are in the middle of our mats. Same thing, come into your mountain-like shape. Bring your hands together. Centering here. And then let's take our palms up towards the sky. Palms come together. We're going to reach up towards the sky and push our hips over to the left and reach our heads over to the right. So we're forming a crescent shape. And let's inhale up and take the other side. Up. Bring your hands into your heart. We're going to step our jump our way out into goddess pose. Okay, goddess pose, our hands are kind of like facing this wall we're at over here. Okay, you just kind of get your legs engaged a little bit more by sinking down a little bit more. Breathing. We're going to take it out into star, so we're just going to expand. We're going to take our right foot towards the back of the room, turn your left heel back. We're coming into Warrior 2. Bend your right knee, and it's going to be into your Warrior 2. It's another strong pose. You might even turn your palms up and just kind of squeeze. You want to feel that you can bring energy to your body. You bring energy, you can bring relaxation. We're empowering ourselves. From here, let's take our right arm up, and we're going to pretend that we're pulling a bow. We shoot our arrow. So as we are here, feeling that sense of, I'm going to point my arrow towards something. What is something that you'd like to point your arrow towards? Here we go. We're going to take it over. We're going to reach towards the back room, okay? And just feel yourself pointing towards that hole. Let your elbow rest on your knee if you like, and take your upper arm over your ear if you like. Now your upper arm, your left arm, you can also feel like you're reaching towards that goal. That arm, what is it? Put one arm here. And then let's open up our chest. We're a little bit more facing the ceiling, and just feel like the light of the universe is at your side. It's taking care of you. From here, let's straighten the right leg and begin to triangle. And then let's exhale back into that powerful goddess. Star. We're just gonna do it facing the other way. So now move your left toes to the front, shift things around, warrior two. Breathe down your back body, zip up your front body as you exhale. Let's take the left arm up, and then pointing your arrow, reaching towards the front of the row now. Yeah, nice. And it could be the same thing, or maybe there's one step you want to take to that goal. Maybe there's one little thing you can do, okay? Specific. And then straighten that leg, big star. With your heart. And then coming back into bodies. And step or hop your feet together. Side to side. And then relax. Bring your palms down beside you. We're going to do the real tree pose now. Okay, so if you want to put your hands on the wall or something, we're going to let our right leg be our anchor. Take your left heel up to your right ankle. Just kind of feel that openness in your hip. Okay, now, Ram Dass says, why are we so critical of each other? When we're different, we think that's bad. Be like the trees and realize each tree is different. Each tree has a unique gift to bring to this world. So be free to be the tree you are. I know I sound like a Dr. Seuss book. Just coming into your version of the tree. Let your heart blossom. Feel yourself grounded by the energy of the universe all around you. They want you to succeed. The universe wants you to succeed. Be the tree that you want to be. When you're ready, you can calm back down. Shake your tree. What's that old sleepy song? I want to tree. Oh, I want to shake the tree. Yeah. Who did that? I can't remember. Oh, it was.
Steve Miller.
Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the other side. I don't know why I bring into classic 60s, like especially like that. Just find your truth. It takes bravery to let go of what others expect of you. As Joseph Campbell says, you know, when we, or like Sue says it too, when we learn to let go of our expectations that others have of us, we can be who we truly are, which is our duty to learn our dharma. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and come on down. All right, and then just kind of shake it around, might do that stuff, or whatever feels good to you. Then we'll come back to the front end of our mat. And separate your feet so that they're kind of on the outer edge of the mat. Bend your knees. Just kind of like you're in the outfield, you're just gonna kind of let your hips sink towards the ground. But you're keeping your spine axial lengthening, and then maybe eventually bring your elbows to your knees. Okay? So let's take a deep inhale. And exhale, go ahead and straighten your legs and kind of feel like you're pointing your fingers down towards the ground. Okay? Remember what it was that you wanted to move towards, what your intention might be. So this has to do with the first thing we did with letting go of obstacles. That was Shiva. This is Brahma. What seed would you like to plant? What seed from that last practice came to mind? So we're just going to plant it. So we're going to be bent over, sinking our hips down, and then just feel yourself straight any amount and bring your fingertips towards the floor. You might have to bend your knees a lot or put your hands on a block. We're just kind of feeling that sense of connection with the earth. And then with your hands on the ground, move your feet back into down dog if that feels good to you, and just kind of walk the dog. And if you'd like, take your left knee forward into pigeon if you're like Oh, man, I hate pigeon. Then just come on down and let your left hip come to the ground and come into deer pose. Okay? So deer pose is just that nice little kind of half pigeon pose. So you might go back with your breathing here to what was it that you wanted to let go of? What could you let go of? Go back to down dog. And come forward with the other leg. Releasing. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back and move into either easy cross-legged seat, or if you prefer to lie down on your back just for a couple moments before we move into the other part of our practice. You could lay totally on your back with a bolster underneath it, or you could stay seated, whatever is going to feel better for you. Let your face relax and just feel again the action of your breath moving down your spine, affecting all the organs, all that is taking place down through the spine. From your lower intestines, your stomach, your adrenals, your kidneys, up into your chest. Inhale as if your body were your favorite pet and you were just petting the back, relaxing with loving kindness. Say to yourself, may you be free of fear. May you be at peace. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature and recognize the healer within. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings everywhere. May you be at peace. Feel this in your body, informing your mind, calming your mind, your breath, calming your mind, body, mind, and spirit, moving into an even, slow wave. Knowing that you are a unique, specific expression of the ocean. Take a moment of gratitude towards this opportunity to connect with yourself, your very special self. And then when you're ready, we'll gently roll to one side and make our way back up to a comfortable seat. Take your time. Bring your hands together again at your heart center, as we did at the beginning, feeling yourself connecting with the whole tradition of yoga. Those yogis so long ago, so prescient, so wise, because they did take time to be still, to be present. To practice, to have purpose. To know they're an essential part of this cycle of life. And then bring your fingertips to your forehead to indicate the desire for a clear and calm mind, to your lips to indicate the desire for honest and compassionate communication, and back to the heart center to indicate the desire for loving intention. May our practice help us become more grounded so we can be more open and free, more compassionate. But help us become kinder so we can teach others to be so as well. Shanti, 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 Namaste. Thank you, yogis. And that, this little chant is called, I just call it the beautiful chant, but it's 108 names for the mother of us all. Yeah. All righty. So, any questions that you have? I have on my website, and the students have in their manuals. Oh, here's some more of these. Some articles. This one looks like this, and it's called "What is Stress? Meditation and Stress Management." And then I have another one that looks like this. Meditation, Unlocking the Secrets of the Mind, and these are on the online platform too, but they kind of go into the science a little bit more if you want to read more about it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being so open. So, what's that?
The copies are in the PDF.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get everything to you. Yeah, if anybody just wants me to send them stuff, just let me know, because I have PDFs of all these articles, so it's pretty easy. And Jennifer's going to be doing some practices with you. I guess I wanted to say real quickly, because that was kind of a weird thing to throw in there. The reason I've been seeing people a lot, and if you do it, it's fine, you've probably done it before. The reason I've been kind of having people I know there's a school, I was part of the Ashtanga school, where you come down like this in your half forward fold with your arms out. This can put a lot of strain on people's backs, and I'm really interested in having people practice in a way today that they can do it tomorrow, and especially at my age, I can see the things I used to do in yoga, I shouldn't have done. And so that's why I wanted to point that out to you, especially if you're for your own practice or if you're teaching, that it's not that people can't do this. I mean, probably, if your back is great and you have a strong core, that's maybe feels just fabulous. But otherwise, keeping things closer to the center is important. So shorter range of distance between the fulcrum, which is the dantian, or your in TBA, transversus abdominis, is what it's associated with in your Western anatomy. So you want to keep things more close in here if you have weaknesses in here. So, yeah, that's it. So, we'll let you guys get into, if you want to get up and shake around a little bit again. By the way, the 3 things that we did in our practice were the 3 deities of yoga, who have many avatars, so many versions of Shiva, Ganesha, who's up here. Ganesha I have tattooed all over me too, so I'm trying to get rid of those obstacles. But, yeah, so the second one is Vishnu, the one who, Brahma, the one who plants the seed, and Vishnu is the one who nurtures the seed. So that's kind of the three prongs of yoga, so, as far as the deities go. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen.
So let's take like about a 5-7 minute break and then we can orient and let's go and switch gears if that's okay.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, it's, if you go this long, then it's actually, yeah. Oh, I said, oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of asked you that a long time ago, but then that's. So, yeah. Good. I'll come back here. Turn the spots there.
See, 2 blocks here, 4 blocks there.
Sometimes it can be and I actually choose house. Well, it's better than I have it in the grass. Well, because I was like, oh, this is like I can do, and they're probably in my share class. And I said, it's just good. So I'm like, oh, that's good. Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, so I was like trying to put down the marker.
Yeah.
So since there's still some people here, just a little bit, I did bring my dissertation, but I finished about whatever, it was at 92. Anyway, to me, when I wrote this, I wasn't doing yoga. I mean, I did a little bit, because, you know, I lived in mid-Missouri, and, you know, we did have a couple of people that did it in the school, college, but it's to me so fascinating to learn, you know, how our own biology reflects yogic philosophy. I mean, I can see why those ancient yogis sitting around a little fire started, you know, they were using their own body for their lab and just experiencing with very close attention what's going on. And I think that's nice. There's Warrior 3.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I think it's really fascinating. And that's what I'm redoing the manual. I'm going to be bringing some of this in because it's really, it's like it's like the chocolate system. It's like, it's how you create behavior change, and it's just so much like, well, yeah, now I know that this didn't come from Shasta, whose work I was basing this off of it. Way before that, so.
So this is your dissertation,
Yeah,
and you're going to implement that into your new handbook?
into the manual,
Or
yes.
code of
I'm
handbook?
just rewriting it, because it's been,
So revising that now?
yeah, it's like 20 years. since-
Yeah, wow.
So, yeah, so, but it's really interesting, because, yeah, kind of tying it all back together.
Well, let me know when it's done so I can get it printed out. and-
Yeah, I will, well, it'll be a while. It's not-
So 4 or 3? Okay.
So if you didn't get a skeleton, you know, these are available on Amazon. They're, how tall would you say those things are?
Probably about a foot.
Yeah, that's what, so, and they're really cheap. The problem is they don't move in all the kinds of movement, but they are interesting because, could you do that Warrior 3 again?
Yeah, sure.
So you'll see that Warrior 3,
Well, I can actually.
yeah, there you go.
A pointed foot or flex?
You can just leave it like that.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, the leg wants to keep
Yeah.
falling down.
But you can see, well, what's that? If you were, you know, in a different position, like standing, you know, standing one leg down its waist. So it's just fun for you to, and I really especially like it because it, you can see the spine, and it's not the spine that it is. You can say, yeah, we need to take care of that spine. So there you go.
Thank you.
And do you want me to turn this off?
Yes. And then, do you need to introduce me to an online community?
Yeah, there's only 3 people there, but yeah,
Hi.
it's Marcy and Carly, and I think Haley was gonna try to come, but I'm
Oh,
not
good.
sure she showed up.
Hi, Marcy. Hi, Carly.
Yeah.
I'm Jennifer. Nice to meet you.
Chelsea, I'm just having a text message here. Oh, here,
Oh, that light probably is kind of rough, huh?
oh, we can move. it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Carly's from Salmon. Yeah.
Well, one of the most beautiful spots in Idaho.
Totally, it really is. So just, since she is introducing herself, the one person, there's 2 people that didn't come, I mentioned the one who is a, she was a cardiac PR nurse. She's not, yeah, and Marcy said hi.
Oh,
And then, so Carly is hoping to utilize yoga and somatic work with her clients. And so that's, Carly, she lives in San, so she could be here today. And she wants to offer community healing opportunities someday. So,
yes.
yeah, so there's a lot of people that got, oh, hi. How are you? This is Deepa. You all haven't met her yet, so. Yeah. And then you can come over here so these guys can see you too.
Say hi to her online. Let me block the light. I
Yeah.
can't.
Hi, I'm Deepandita. I'm a current Shanti student, and this is my second workshop with Shanti student and my Guruji Deviji. And I'm really happy to be here. And I was a zoology student, and right now I'm preparing for my PhD. But apart from that, yoga is my part of the life. Like from the childhood, eating, sleeping, and yoga is my practice. So I brought up in an Indian family where yoga is a tradition. And after moved to the USA, I really feel blessed to get these people around me. And Shanti Yoga is completely different for me because here I assimilate yoga with physiology, anatomy, biotechnology, and all. And yoga blending with biomechanics is really awesome for me. And yes, I definitely contribute to the society. through yoga combined with biochemistry and biophysiology, because I think not only yoga, but yoga blending with science means a lot, because our anatomy, our muscular structure, our neurophysiology is really connected with yoga. From top to bottom, every corner of the body is connected with yoga. So yes, yoga is the big world, and I am the only 1%, I think less than 1% of it, and that's all for me. And thanks to all for here, and that's all for me today. Thank you. Namaskar to all. Namaskar Guruji, namaskar to all.
Hi, workshop part 2, here we go. So the part that I'm teaching that Debbie and I kind of came up with is, she was really embodying the science and the ideology of where stress comes from, hence, relating to the vagus nerve system. Is it vagus or vagus? Does it matter? I want to say it right.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Is it vagus or Vegas?
It's Vegas, like the city.
Okay.
Las Vegas. The reason, and that's how I was taught. Maybe.
Well, I like to make up words all the time,
Mr.
so.
Vadas is it.
I should say tomato, tomato.
Yeah.
The only reason
Yeah.
I say that, or I think I know that, is there was a really funny article written about Viva la Vegas nerve.
Viva Vegas nerve.
Vegas. It's like,
I love our culture. So what I'm responsible for this weekend is really taking the discussion topics that we've been talking about, and today is really about stress and where we see stress in the body, and it's just kind of a brief summary takeaway from what Debbie was mentioning with the vagus nerve. It's just like that is the longest nerve in our body, and where it's blocked, just like from the feet to the top, kind of what Deepa was saying over there, it's just like every part of our body is affected. And what does that mean from a yogic perspective? Why do we practice yoga? One of the main reasons we come to yoga is, as my teachers have taught me, it's to remove the obstructions within the body so we can get that free prana or chi or flow of energy that we want to see through the vagus nerve, through our sushumna, our energetic spine, from head to toe. We carry a lot of our stress and our baggage sometimes in our hips when you have deep pockets or heavy pockets. We can relate different types of stress to different parts of our body throughout, the fear that we might carry in our shoulders, or just that weight we carry in the shoulders, kind of that childhood trauma or the family weight. Or so there's a lot of distinct areas like where we have habitual pains in our bodies that we can relate back to this stress and this fear. Where I want to go today with respect to the application is I want for us to see and blend all of this discussion with the sister science of yoga, which is Ayurveda. And so the approach that I'm going to take today through our application of practice, through journaling, I want to talk about 3 primary things today. How Ayurveda is infused with all of this. A yang approach, which is a more masculine approach, and how that affects our stressors. A yin approach, which is the more feminine approach, and how that affects our stressors, and both of these relieving. And then a yoga nidra. And a yoga nidra is a different type of approach that will go, I'll probably spend a majority of the time going through what a yoga nidra practice looks like and why that is so beneficial for our topic today of stress reduction and the movement of energy. So let's start with the sister science of yoga, Ayurveda. You guys familiar with Ayurveda processes? So I'm going to touch upon and just infuse the doshas. The three most important and basic or foundational concepts of Ayurveda, which we call as doshas, and it's Vata. Geez, I must be nervous. Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. So the Vata, Kapha, and Pitta, believe it or not, those are like the yogis would use this science and have basically written the whole earth, all the cycles, the stars, and within those same elements, everything within us. What is within us is also outside of us. What we see outside of us is within us. And so that's where the flow of energy comes in, the prana, and when we have an obstruction, that's where we create dis-ease. So we're using our practice and we're using this doshic system, this Vata, Kapha, and Pitta to help inform the stressors that we are feeling at any given time of year. For example, right now we are entering into what is known as the Kaphic season. And Kapha is just this slower, you could think of like this slow sappiness type feel. It's just lethargic a little bit. So sometimes our stress might bring about lethargy. You know, we might feel lethargic or just, I can't move, and it's that freeze type feeling. And so that is kind of like this kind of season, this Kaphic season, just like not good enough to accomplish anything, and we're just stuck. We just came out of the Vata element, and Vata is the wind. So late summer or midsummer to late fall is the Vata season, and that's where chaos ensues. And if you think about it from a stressor perspective, like this is like the multitasker's favorite time to be alive, because I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. Family, what? They don't stress me out. Shut up, kid, you know, or cooking dinner, and I can also type on my computer and go do that little laundry. So that is Vata, when we are overworked and we create this element of over stress. So that is really kind of what that Vata looks like. And then Pitta is more of the fire. It is known as the fire element. And it is spring. We're in, from a seasonal perspective, cycle perspective, we're in Pitta season from about early spring to midsummer. So we have 4 seasons, but Ayurvedic, the doshas divide it up into a kind of a trimester of seasons. And when we are in the middle of that Pitta state of being, and you think of the fire, we think about burning the candle at both ends, just pure exhaustion, just pure fire, always on the go, and we don't even think, we lose thought. It's just like, where did I put my phone? Where are my keys? Oh God, I left my kid at school and I'm supposed to pick her up. But, you know, so it's just really kind of burning the candle at both sticks. So when we can kind of like take this 10,000 perspective, this 10,000 foot viewpoint, and look at, okay, if we're in Kaphic season, but I'm burning at both ends, so I really have a lot of this Pitta going on, or I'm doing 4 jobs at once, this very Vata approach to things, and we're looking at the season. So we got to ask ourselves, you know, what do I need to balance what out? So just by saying what I have said about describing the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kaphic just type of qualities, can you identify where maybe some of your current stressors lie in any one of those particular fields? Are your stressors more Vatic right now? Are they more Pitta? Or are they more Kaphic right now? You know, and think about that. So first of all, if we're going to make a difference as yoga teachers, we have to apply these philosophies and these practices to ourselves. So that's exactly what I want to give you today, is an opportunity to apply these experiences to yourself. This is how we become better yoga teachers. This is how we teach what we know. And this is how we hold sacred space and develop knowledge, is through our practical experience. I look at teaching yoga like I do raising my kids. I am what I am. I have to be the experience. I have to be the example. So just take a moment and see if there was any one of those particular areas or stressors that you've identified with. In fact, before we get moving and before we see a progression in these different practices, I'd like you to take a moment and create and take a journaling exercise, if you don't mind. I'm not giving handouts. I was going to do handouts, and I'm happy to give them after the workshop so you can kind of see my sequence of thought. But because this is an application part of this process, of this workshop, in order to fill the application, we have to find reflection. Reflection is the outcome of application. So in self-reflection here, and you don't have to answer this 100%, but I am going to give us a couple of minutes. Ask yourself, what areas of my life do I need to take inventory? With who? What serves me? And what doesn't serve me? So that's question number one. And then the follow-up question to this is, how do you define yourself? How do you define yourself? And how do you know? So question number one, which is really kind of where we're going to focus, is what areas of my life do I need to take inventory? One, with who? Two, what serves me? And three, what doesn't serve me? And then that follow-on question, how do you define yourself? That's kind of like the reflection point. If we are immersing in an application right now, how do you define yourself is kind of the outcome of your practice. When we embody our practice and practice with habit and faith, then we're going to be able to reveal that answer of how do I define myself? Because this is going to be sifted through those obstructions. We're going to use this practice to become reflective, to become clear. Yeah. Yeah. What areas of my life do I need to take inventory? One, with who? Two, what serves me? And three, what doesn't serve me? And then when we begin to journal these lists, and you don't even have to give it a lot of thought, just what comes out on that paper today? Because yoga is a different practice every day. So what comes out on that paper today? And thinking about that, then we can really become reflective and look at our answers. And then we can look at it, are these more Kapha type stressors? Are these more Pitta type stressors or Vata type stressors? So the Vata stressors, once again, I'll just kind of summarize for us, comes out in the source of anxiety, restlessness, and overthinking. Our Pitta, or the fire, is irritability, perfectionism, and tension. So those are kind of these emotional outcomes. And our Kapha, this more slow, murky feeling, is lethargy, low motivation, and sluggishness. So one of the things that our yoga practice, every time you go to a class or you have your personal practice, you can use these different types of concepts to see where you're at on the mat, and then how do we balance it out? So let's now talk about balancing it out. So how do we balance it out? Let's use, right now, it's wintertime, we're in Kapha season, we're entering Kapha season, and we are feeling, let's say we have pitta tension, this fire tension. There's a lot of irritability. The holidays are coming up, and so we were, stressed about. Who knows what our stressors are? With who or with what? So what do we do to know that I'm in this Kaphic season with a lot of pitta stressors? And then there's this element of vata. The goal with Ayurvedic and the doshas is to bring about balance. Debbie talked about that throughout her whole first half of this segment, is the importance of knowing all of this is to bring about balance. We want to neutralize our vibration, yeah? To raise our vibration rather than keeping this big, huge pendulum swing going from side to side. So we use these doshas and our understanding of ourselves within our nature to neutralize. So we are in a Kaphic season. And so we want to balance that, our pitta self. So what does that look like as a practice? Well, this type of time of the season is asking us to be slow, to be grounded, and an opposite balance of that would be this fire. We want to kind of create this fire, kind of like burn the amber a little bit more, create a little bit more of this movement. So someone with pitta stressors in a Kaphic season might be like, I'm in my element, bitches. I've got this. I don't mean to swear, but I do. That's just who I am. Respect. But so then what it does is it puts this sheath or this obstruction in front of us where we are not self-reflecting. We are not honoring ourselves. So what we would do if we're feeling pitta in a Kaphic season, we'd use the season to help balance the fire within us. So take that slower, grounded approach, because I bet any of us who are pitta, we want to do those handstands. We want to do those really big back bends. We want that deep, fast, I need that exercise and workout approach until I just crash. But in balance, what would seem appropriate is if we take a more grounded approach. If we need that back bend, what do? We take wheel, or bow pose or whatever it's called. So our belly is on the earth. We take these lighter back bends. Maybe we take our bridge posture or, just a nice light opening. But we will practice at that minimum to medium edge. If we have a minimum, medium, and maximum edge experience, we never want to push to that maximum edge because that puts us into our nervous system fight or flight responses. We want to stay in that parasympathetic nervous system. So our physical practice is going to dwell between that minimum, medium, maybe to medium plus edge, depending on what we're trying to accomplish. So we can gain the strength, we can gain the flexibility, and we can gain and maintain awareness throughout our practice. Because without it, we're just experiencing the fluctuations, and our yoga practice adds no value to our life. I know that's a really hard statement to swallow because we'll go through a great hot yoga practice or whatever it is, and we'll leave fantastic, but then we'll burn out and we'll forget about it. Where's the dwelling? Where's the reflection? Where is the reoccurring vibration of the obstructions being removed from within us? So that's kind of my example there. Does that make sense? Do we have any other thoughts or questions or comments to add upon it? Or how are you feeling right now?
I just think that is so great for coming to, kind of we're hitting before, like the practice we are being right now. And right now, and tomorrow. So just really, I just love it, just reflection. It's not like he says that unexamined life is not worth living. It's such an old truth, but we do forget to do that.
Yeah. Our neuropathy or neuroscience tendencies, and I'm kind of looking at Deepa back here to kind of help me with this, but even the most practice, and my teacher, Rod Stryker, also refers to this often, even after the most disciplined practice, our human mental tendency is to go right back to the origin of our fight and flight and fear thoughts, because it's the survival that's built within each of us. It's the survival gene that runs through all of us. And so even after this luminous aha moment, we often find ourselves right away shifting back into our samskaras, or these patterns or habits that don't serve us. So hence looking at those questions. What serves you? And what doesn't serve you? Why is that important to reflect upon? Why is that important to bring into our practice? Because with it, we begin to shift the samskaras, or the patterns of our thoughts, because our thoughts, our patterns create and set us up for our future selves, our future experiences. So we want to look at those synaptic ruts, or those pathways that we create in our brain, or samskaras as it is known as a yoga terminology, to begin to reflect the lifestyle we want. And why is journaling so important? Because journaling is a tool that helps bring us to focus and dedication. It's another layer of consistency and habituality within us. So it's a really important step. I 100% encourage you, while you're in your yoga teacher training, to constantly journal. Journal the effects of your practice. Journal all the thoughts that arose. And then that also helps you create this foundation of remembrance. So that's important. So that's why I always like to bring my teachings with journaling and starting off. So we kind of have started off our own journaling practice now. Let's take a moment and move ourselves from our self-reflection, the discussion of Ayurveda and the doshas and why that's important, to some of the practices that I want to bring up today. There's specific practices that I want to experience with all of you, and there's specific breathing techniques that I want to introduce to all of you. And I have 3 practices, and I think they encompass pretty much any yoga class except for restorative. We'll go into that tomorrow. The yang practice, or the vinyasa movement. How do we keep a vinyasa flow class one of consistency without invoking deeper stress or trauma triggers? How do we do that? And then the next practice that I want to give us a little snippet of is the yin yoga practice. Why we hold these poses for longer, the contemplation that comes with it, and the initial elements that create a yin pose, that create a yin practice. And then the third one, where I honestly want to spend the most time with, is yoga nidra, and why that is so powerful of a practice for us Westerners in today's culture. So let's start with the yang practice, because part of the yang practice is bringing in this timed breath technique that is important. They say, the sages, us yogis, we say that it's the use of breath that differentiates yoga from any of the other modalities. Yeah? How we use our breath. I mean, as yoga teachers, breathe in here, breathe out there, breathe in here, breathe out there, which is great and all, because what we're ultimately trying to do is get our students, or the practitioners, to synchronize their movement with the breath. And that's what we want to do, is learn how to synchronize movement with breath. Why? Why? Because Iyengar told me that I should exhale in a forward fold? No. not why. Even though it's appropriate, exhales and forward pulls are cousins, they love each other. But it's because it's our breath that's the golden key, or the gateway, I should say, that yokes, which is Sanskrit for yoga, which yokes the focus and awareness and the concentration in the mind with the gut, the creativity that extends within us, and brings this all passing through our heart, down, up and through our sushumna, our energetic energy channel, the vagus nerve, and what it does. And think about where this also passes is through the heart space. We talk about, we have 7, or depending on what system you believe in, but we have like 7 primary chakras. And we look at those, but what I want to focus on right here is what is passing through between the focus of the mind and our creativity, our human experience that lives down in our lower chakras, is right here at the heart space. We have 250,000 neurons surrounding our heart that we find up in our intellectual brain. So we want to take all of this and come to a space of heart intelligence where the union of our systems can find peace and the flow. Does that make sense? Good. Start with the yang practice. So I'm going to wait to tell you until after, because I want you to have a moment of reflection. So a yang practice, I am going to bring in a little bit of movement with us today. And I want to do this in a way that hopefully affords us an opportunity to practice with awareness and see how a physical practice, rather than doing 25 different chaturangas, how can we create an awareness, an awakening practice. So let's come to standing, please. This is the application. I think my foot went to sleep, so if I stumble, that's why. So coming to your yoga mat. So one of the most important parts of yoga, and we say that our practice is different every day, we need to create a baseline. What are you arriving with? What are we arriving with today? So this is a consistent ritual that I teach in every single one of my classes to initiate my practice and holding space for everybody. Take in your surroundings. Feel your community here to practice with the same intention as yours of showing up for yourself. Why you came is individualized. Now begin to bring your awareness to you. Circle yourself up on your yoga mat, your space of practice. Create just this nice pranic or energetic circle for whatever to unfold gets to unfold here. Whatever arises, whatever dissipates. Now, just exactly as you are, begin to scan your body from the crown of your head all the way out through your fingertips, down through the soles of your feet. And maybe back up. Recognize what's neutral. Recognize what's fiery. Recognize those areas we really don't give ourselves much attention to. And then once you feel the body, let's take it in another layer of svadhyaya or self-study. Observe the content of your mind. Maybe it's something that you can pinpoint. Maybe it's just an overall observation. Or maybe it's more of an emotional identification. Without judgment, just observe. And now I invite you to look at your breath, just the breath that's supporting your current state of being. Notice the sensations of your breath. Notice the qualities. Can you see it in and out through the nose? Do you feel it in the body? Can you feel where it's stuck? Can you feel where it flows? Is it light? Is it heavy? This is the breath that is supporting your current state of being. And notice when we go in deeper to that layer of watching the breath, your breath automatically begins to shift. Have you watched your breath? Can you see or witness how maybe your breath has elongated naturally on its own? Or exhaled a little bit longer on its own? Now let's spread our feet wider, just towards that, beyond the outer edges of your mat, onto the court floor or whatever feels more comfortable. And let's begin just some nice movements side to side. Using the breath that you have. Again, does this feel familiar? A little bit of that qigong. But I'm going to yogify it just a little bit here. So just begin to notice your movements, taking up your space. And we're feeling one foot come up off of the earth and then the next, and we can feel the air moving with the arms and our gaze and our neck going side to side with our movement. Now keep up the body action, but now take your gaze and find a drishti. Find a focal point straight ahead. Let's begin to create that single point of concentration here. And then once you create the single point of concentration, I invite you to take a moment of awareness and notice the rhythm of your breath. Notice how maybe the rhythm of your breath has become larger to fit your movement. And notice how the gaze is becoming more focused and softer. Then let's just slowly begin to come back to neutral, to our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Feel the feet on the earth. That sense of grounding that Debbie talked about is so important. Notice the sensations through the body. Notice how in this moment we have a bit more of a focused, softer gaze. Our eyes are no longer scattering, which induces stress and trauma. Now let's get into the lymphatic system a little bit more, taking your arms, extending out in front of you, and just begin to lift one knee and the other, and synchronize the movements with your breath. Doesn't matter if you're exhaling up and inhaling down or vice versa. It's naturally what comes. See if you can really kind of lift the knees here. See if we could get into the hip creases or awakening portions of our lymphatic system here. And then let's slowly come back to neutral, our Tadasana. Notice the feeling of maybe the blood pulsing through you, the movement of the energy within you. Focused gaze. Notice maybe sensing a bit more groundedness within us. And now let's bend our knees and just support our arms here like we're going to tell each other secrets. And feel the breath move within your body. Focusing on the breath here. Let it flow as it is. And then we're going to create our first little technique here where we control the flow of our breath. So we're going to take a nice deep inhale, exhale fully, And then initiate your next inhale at the very low of the belly, a third at the low of the belly, a third in the mid belly, and in the top of the inhale at the upper belly. And as you exhale, you're going to exhale from the upper to mid, all the way to the lower. And inhale a third at the lower belly, the mid, and the upper. Now, keep doing this and exhale from upper, mid to lower. And recognize that of course we have more movement in the mid belly. What can you do to access between the pubic bone and your navel and filling up the breath here? And then rounding it out. It may feel short or disjointed a bit, but keep focusing. The breath will become more consistent. We're slowing the breath down. We're now using the breath as a tool to regulate our nervous system. And then from here, let's move all the way down to all fours. Feel free to place the blanket underneath your knee for extra padding if you desire. And finding your tabletop. Fingers are spread comfortably wide, checking in with your ergonomics of your tabletop. Of course, we all know we can draw to the forearms if your wrists are flaring. I would take a bolster in the forearms and start with your right knee. Draw your right knee in towards your right shoulder and then circle it back around. Again, synchronizing the movement with your breath. No right or wrong way. Allowing the gaze or your drishti to be soft and focused. And we're going to create about 6 or so circles. And then once you complete those 6 circles, come back to your tabletop. Always pause and transition. Transitions are there's so much information we can find in listening to our bodies and that subtle awareness. And now let's start with the left side. Draw the left knee towards the left shoulder and then circle it out and about. And once you create or finish up at your 6 to 8 rotations, come back and pause. And then we're going to go back to the first side, but start with your knee away from you and circle in towards your shoulder. So switch the rotation. Moving at a pace that serves you, of course. Look at the tendencies of the mind when we're working in the hips. Is it relational to any stressors? And then move to your second side, starting the left away and drawing it in. And then pausing here. And then walk your hands out, a nice healthy handprint, keeping our hips semi-stacked over the shoulders. Let's draw down into Anahata Asana, drawing the forehead and the heart to the earth, lengthening through the back body. And of course, if you want to experience a bit deeper of a stretch along the erector spinae or the muscles along either side of the back, more firmly press your fingertips, all 10, into the mat and lift the palms and the wrists up off of the mat. So it's just the fingertips. And feel yourself lengthening through your tailbone where the wall and ceiling meet behind us. When you're ready, please begin to walk the hands back towards tabletop. keeping the gaze soft, I'm actually going to count us through. We're going to work our way through a flowy cap, but as a community, as a class, I want us to all breathe together. So we're going to begin to employ a diaphragmatic breath where we inhale to a count of 4 and we're going to exhale to a count of 6. And as you inhale, so let's just start in our neutral tabletop. Exhale everything. Feel the navel draw to the back body and maybe exhale even a little bit more. And then inhale, shoulders move away, chest moves forward and up, sit bones lift. 3, 4, and then exhale, bend the elbows, round the body. 2, 3, lower the hips to your heels. 4, 5, 6. And then inhale, hover the body forward and through. 2, 3, 4. And then exhaling, lowering, rounding. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, coming back up into the heart opener. 2, 3, 4. So our movement continues to match the speed of our counting. Exhaling, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to add a little bit more. We're going to inhale to a count of 6. Inhale coming up, so your movement slower. 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to exhale, count of 8. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale coming up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, lowering. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause here. Normal breath. Now we're going to invite a little bit more movement to our synchronized counting of our breath. So I'm moving at a pace of an inhale of 6 and an exhale of 8. If that becomes too much, we break that down back to an inhale of 4 and an out breath of 6. But for now, let's see if we can serve ourselves with an inhale of 6. So from here in this position, we're going to add into downward facing dog. So exhale fully, holding. Toes are tucked under. And then inhale, slowly begin to straighten the legs. 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, lower the knees. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Knees touch. Inhale, lift the chest forward and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, round, sit bones to heels. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, lift to downward facing dog. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, lower the knees and allow the movement to be as slow. The movement ends at the end of the count. 5, 6, 7, 8. In breath, lift the chest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, round. Sit bones to heels. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In breath, lift to downward facing dog. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause here, normal breath. Now walk the feet to the hands, forward fold or Uttanasana at the top of the mat. Add that nice generous bend in the knees so you can really free the neck. When you add the generous bend in the knees, notice the cervical spine. Notice how it releases tension. So you can almost feel, if you carry tension in your shoulders, just visualize it melting away here. Down into the earth, recycling. Soften the jaw and the face. Where are you holding on to? Self-study through our practice. Where are your feet? Are you on the outer edges? Can you balance the inner and big outer toe balance? Maybe you have a little bit more weight in your hips. Maybe have a little bit more in your toes. That I'm not concerned about right now. And then let's bring the hands to our hips here. Bend the knees a bit more, draw the elbows towards the back body. And on your next in-breath, use the center of the heart to lift forward and up. And exhale, release the hands. I invite you in mountain pose as we're grounding. Notice the quality of your breath here. Notice the content of the mind. Notice the feeling tones in the physical body. Then we're going to turn sideways onto our yoga mats. Face is long. Like Debbie did. Let's find a wider stance. Or like a wide-legged forward fold. How did the 6 and 8 work for people? Was that a good pace? Okay, good. We're going to continue to go forward and really and truly, there's spaces to even increase those numbers even more. And notice we want the inhale to be shorter, the exhale to be longer. And even with the longer exhale, that means our movements are that much more intentional and slow. I'm not finishing my movement until I'm at the bottom of it. So let's start from here, and let's take a wide-legged forward fold. So taking your wide-legged forward fold, and just take a moment and feel. We'll experience the posture for a moment. Maybe you want to find it in stillness, or maybe you kind of want to move side to side a little bit. Just take a couple of free breaths, free organic movements in your forward fold. And then coming back to the center of your forward fold. Start with taking your right hand and placing it just under your gaze. And then we're going to begin to twist over to the left. We'll take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale fully. Maybe look at a slight bend in your left knee and take an in-breath and slowly begin to twist over to the left. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhale, slowly coming down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hand replaces the left. In breath coming up, twisting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, begin to lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right hand replaces left. In breath, twist to the left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, release. Last time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In breath, you count to yourself. And then pausing in your wide-legged forward fold. And now here, maybe once again, just like bend in the left knee, and see what you can do to take your right hand, either placing it in front of your toes, on the outside of your toes. We're going to take a little bit even deeper of a twist. We're going to break all of this down afterwards. So starting at your left, right hand to outside of left toes. Maybe there's even a slight bend. And then same thing. In breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhale. 2, And we're gonna cross the body. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In breath, over. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now internally count to yourself. And then we'll pause back in our forward fold. Heel to the feet, bringing them back together. Add a bigger, generous breath, sit bones lower, and then we can roll up from here. And the last thing that lifts will be your chin. Feel your feet connected to the earth. Now I invite you to look at the content of the mind. Do you see more spaciousness? Do you see more of a consistent rhythm within? Infusing breath to our movement. And let's turn back towards the top of the mats, please. Notice your intention of even moving to the top of the mat. Feel yourself grounded. In breath, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. In breath, coming up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the mat, left foot steps back, heel onto the earth. Toes pointing up, warrior one. In breath, coming up into your warrior one. Exhale, come into a diagonal. Pause. And as you come into your diagonal, take your right hip slightly back, energetically reach through your extended fingers. Feel grounded and firm through your back left heel. And then on your next in-breath, access the very low of the belly and allow the arms to come back in. Find the back bend. Now, warrior one offers us. But bring it from the very low of the belly all the way through the fingertips. You can notice the security in your tailbone, in the low back here. And then exhale, hands back down to the earth. Back foot steps forward, Uttanasana at the top of the mat. In breath, coming up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. In breath, Urdhva Hastasana, extended mountain. Exhale, Samasthiti. Place your hands at your heart space. Just pause and be. Find yourself grounding in mountain pose. Feel the feet and the earth meet. Feel your gaze, feel your body, feel the content of your mind. Feel the support of your breath. You moving within the pace of your breath. In breath, arms come up, second side. Exhale, forward fold. In breath, coming up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the earth. Right foot steps back. Here, Urdhva one. Use your in-breath coming up into the pose. And then exhale, take the diagonal so you feel like you have a straight, strong line from your back right heel through the hips, through the spine, through your fingertips. Find that diagonal. Take one more in-breath here. And then exhale from the pubic bone all the way up into a back bend, any amount that you choose. If this is hard on the shoulders, draw them down into cactus arms. One more in-breath here. And then on your exhale, fold forward over your front leg. Step your back foot forward, Uttanasana. Next, in breath, coming out halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Heel toe the feet towards the outer edges of the mat. Toes point out at a 45-degree angle. On your next exhale, begin to bend the knees, lower the sit bones all the way to the mat or your bolster or your prop. That right now is the extent of our yang practice, but come to seated. Make sure you find a nice comfortable seat. If you need to sit up on a bolster for an extended period of time, please do so. Allow the gaze to be soft or the eyes to close, whichever feels most comfortable. Find the stillness in the body. Now begin to sense your breath entering and leaving through the nose. Watching and feeling it. And begin to notice its strength, if it's stronger through the right or the left nostril. And once you notice the strength, can you see if you could balance the breath more evenly through both nostrils? And as you balance the breath more evenly through both nostrils, feel how the breath is touching the nostrils, the cool air on the edges of the nostrils as it draws in, and maybe even all the way up the nasal cavity into the space between the brows. And as you exhale, you can feel the prana leave the nostrils. You can feel the little follicles, the hair. And here you can now even begin to watch the length or the prana of the inhale. As you inhale, you can almost feel the breath. It's called Pinglas, I believe it is. Maybe you can almost feel the breath inhale, like from the throat, from down beneath you, from the heart, all the way up into the nose. And as you exhale, you can also maybe even perceive the length of your prana as it leaves, how far away it goes beyond the nostrils. Perceiving the depth of the inhale, noticing all the in-breath that we're taking in, this obstructed or non-obstructed inhale until it reaches our nose, and then it makes contact with our inner nose. Now see if you can perceive the part of our breath that is unstruck or unobstructed. The part of the inhale that draws all the way up in past the navel cavities or nasal cavities and into the midbrain, behind the third eye. Visualize that unobstructed prana reaching your midbrain. And as you exhale, you can feel the obstructed part, the part that touches the nostril, and you can see the depth of the rest of your exhale leave the body. Please continue to really work with drawing the unobstructed prana deep within, passing through the third eye into the midbrain. It's this unobstructed breath that we want to use to help massage those synaptic roots. Notice what you're thinking about now. In this moment, the tension has melted and you have focus. What were those stressors you wrote down or contemplated at the beginning of practice? How has your yoga practice influenced you here? And when we become more familiar with this state of being, we can employ it at any time on or off the mat. So when you're ready, begin to open your eyes. Feel the earth beneath you. And find the breath that serves you. Okay. That was what I would consider an element of a yang or vinyasa flow type practice infused with breath. And we can see potentially where you can observe, and this is where you would journal it. How did your practice influence you? What were the elements, that different points? What came to the surface? What arose? And recognize what's gone. How did it affect your breath? How is it affecting your current state of being? So this is where we journal. This is where we are reflective onto how our practice affects us. Because as aspiring yoga teachers, how can we give anyone advice if we don't take this opportunity and feel and do this for ourselves? So when you have a class and you have a moment, always find an opportunity for that self-reflection. Maybe you're just writing down, oh, I really like that pose, or I really like that word, or I know I'm never going to use that in my practice again. It's a non-judgmental thing. It's a non-dual thing. So it's not about good or bad. It's what is serving us. And then you get to see, oh, is this serving my ego, or is this serving my stressor, or is this serving the intentional me? Any thoughts or questions or discussion opportunities? Any feelings you want to share? Yeah,
I like how the mind becomes more and more, or less and less, full of anything. As you move through a practice and you focus your breathing and your movement, your mind is like on neutral.
It is. Is that what you felt?
That's what I felt. And I love it.
Good. I like that. And that's why the habit or the consistency is so critical for us, because what it is doing is it's creating new samskaras within us, right? And so we're creating these new patterns or habits, and then we're able to access exactly what you felt at any other time in our life, and that's us moving out of the fight and flight to a streamlined vagus nerve, and where we're constantly in this more state of action versus knee-jerk reactionary states. This becomes us. Yoga is a practice of becoming, where it's not just a state of being, it's a means to being. So thank you for that reflection. So the more and more you'll find yourself, and you won't notice it while you're in it, most likely. It's an outcome that you notice. All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I haven't yelled at my kid for 2 days. Or whatever it may be. My kids are 19, I can't yell at them anymore. But just as an example. So it's an outcome that you'll begin to perceive. It's like growing up. You didn't realize that you grew an inch in a year, Or at my age, starting to shrink a little bit. So we have about 40 more minutes. And I really want to take the time here, really wanted to get into the yin of it and kind of do a bit of the yin practice. But I'm just going to give it a good 3-minute dissertation here, because I really want to dive into the Yoga Nidra. I think for today's topic, that is what's really going to bring about, the most power to today's topic. So the yin practices, we all know what yin yoga practice is. It's where we take a pose and we hold it for an extended amount of time. I would like to say some of us, can be a confusion that between yin and restorative, because restorative is putting the entire body in 100% ease for recuperation and resetting. Yin, on the other hand, does not have to feel pretty all the time. And oftentimes in yin, let's talk about mental. When we hold poses, what I would call more static poses than dynamic poses, when we hold these static postures, what we have, at least what I have found, is a tendency for the monkey mind to be revealed. We can really begin to see the content and the habits of our thinking patterns. And, one of the first things of Buddhist meditations they teach you how to watch your thoughts, how to label your thoughts. And so we can incorporate labeling our thoughts. For example, like you might notice that you have a tendency when you're thinking about something, you begin to witness, oh, I'm just constantly writing a to-do list for me, just constant to-do list. Or another universal pattern is I'm always going back in the past and replaying that story and seeing what I could have done different. Or we become more futuristic creatures where it's just like we fantasize, we create this event within us and then we build upon it, wondering, is it going to manifest? How can I do this? So we can see ourselves, either task-oriented, replaying the past experiences, or creating some fictional story for ourselves. Yin yoga gives us that opportunity to see our mental patterns. As a practice, we can begin to witness and study ourselves even a little bit deeper. And once we are in that practice, we can use the practice and recognizing this safe teacher that's guiding me is working on my mobility and flexibility for me in my body. Well, I'm trying to figure out where I feel it, and I can emotionally say that's painful. What kind of emotion? Where's it at? Where we're going with this? And then I can look at my thoughts and begin to change those habits that no longer serve us. Just start by labeling them, and then pretty soon you can count your breath. You can begin to see your breath, and then you're going to go into that space that Lisa was just talking about. The mental stillness is there. So that's about how much attention I want to give in, because that was one of the most important elements I want to give in. Not just, it is increasingly important to practice yin because it does. We store our trauma in our body, right? And yin is so fantastic at specifically targeting those physical spots. And we were just talking about how important it is to address our pain physically, our emotional pain on a physical level. It's the first step of entrance. And then we go from there. Any thoughts, questions before I segue? Need a little break? We're going to move into Yoga Nidra, so we're going to get completely comfortable. So I think now let's just take just a couple minutes if you want to get some props and things like that before we settle into our practice. I'll have a little discussion and then we'll find the practice of it. There you are.
Have it written down the exercise you did for the game.
The practice that we did with the breathing,
Yeah.
I don't have it written down, but I can tell you exactly what it is.
Okay, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. About ready? For one more person? So the aspects of Yoga Nidra that I want to discuss today, again, I am really doing my best to keep them point on topic, which is stress reduction and things like that, rather than going into a lot of the fundamental details about what is Yoga Nidra. But I will just kind of describe it. You've heard it pronounced Yoga Nidra, but the true Sanskrit is a little I, not a long I, so Yoga Nidra. And Nidra comes from the root of ni, which is to sleep. So Nidra itself means to sleep. So we're talking about a yogic sleep here. And I can't wait to demystify this part because everyone's like, oh my God, yes, I just get to go to sleep. This is so great. And oftentimes we do. But so the nid part of the Nidra, nid comes from the root nid is the end of movement, or the end of, or the culmination of all that is. And the dra, the root dru, D-R-U, is to draw out or to draw something forth. So we're using, so the whole word together is like transcribed to sleep. So we are coming to the end. We're drawing ourselves to this non-dual state, to this end of being, to this stillness, to this all that is, to this pure consciousness, state of consciousness. And what we want to look at here is, okay, consciousness is a result of awareness. So even though we call this a yogic sleep, we want to remain aware. It is our goal, in order for the Nidra practice to work for us, it is our goal to stay aware, deeply relaxed. Watch yourself get deeply relaxed, become aware of it. We enter through these different phases or she's or stages of stillness. And we will only go so far if we lose awareness. And I also want to discuss the importance of this practice. In order for us to become this non-dualistic perception, in order for us to see our true self, this isn't a practice you just do once or one time a week. It's not enough. It's not enough. And in order to become something, and it's with any meditation or anything you want to accomplish, you need to really and truly commit to 40 days of practice every day in order to really understand what it's like to become this inner self too. And I don't want to say become something else, like I'm a magician and I'm transitioning to, a wizard or anything, but it's more like that coming home, that becoming, or coming into and stepping into all that is. The Soham or the Satnam, all that is. So making sure that, and this is a point where each one of us as practitioners gets to ask ourselves, how dedicated am I? If you gave yourself on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the most dedicated, where do you fall on that scale? Without judgment. But where do you fall on that scale? And then when you can see where you fall on the scale, then that gives you even another picture about where you're at in your life today. Without judgment. And then it gives us, where that last question that I asked us, it gives us an opportunity to figure out, where was my question at?
What doesn't serve us?
What doesn't serve us? Yeah. Where do I want to go? Yeah.
Where do I want to slough off?
Yeah, that's it. Like, oh, here it is. No, the very last question. How do you define yourself? Yeah.
I skipped that one.
How do you define yourself? Let's see. A little bit more about Yoga Nidra. So this is a deep sleep we're going to go into. It's a process. It's like a 4-part process, and just the elements are we arrive into the most comfortable position we can arrive in with the intention of awareness. When you feel like you're going to fall asleep after you've made yourself comfortable, I invite you raise an arm, because just raising an arm, I usually have a bolster in my knees. Raising your arm will keep you in a state of awareness instead of like this. So let's really practice with the intention of awareness today. Second element is we create a sankalpa, or an intention, and we want to keep this intention with us as a present moment intention, like I am love, I am abundance, I am peace, I am safe, I am at ease, I am joy, whatever it may be that comes to you. And then the third part is the somatic experience. We go through this body scan so we can really tune into all the nadis or areas of energy within our body. And then the fourth element of this is kind of looking at these opposites, and we do that description through sensations as a means to create a neutral space, because we'll enter these deep thoughts and we can see how powerful our minds are, just so we can come back to this place of stillness. So it's a mental training. And then we come out of it. You ready for the practice? Okay, get yourselves cozy and comfortable. In fact, I'm going to turn the heat up just so you guys are good with that. You can say no. I like it. All right, getting all comfortable. Settling in, becoming as comfortable as possible. If you would like a blanket over you, just get my attention. I'll bring you whatever you need. Fully accepting the stillness in the body. Feeling the feet free, the arms resting by your sides. Everything feels comfortable. And begin to take a nice slow breath in and a long, long, soft out breath. Doing that a couple of times, allowing your body to settle, feeling the ground holding you, and recognizing there is nowhere else you need to be. This is your time. And this is the part of the practice where you gently begin to bring a simple intention into your mind, something that supports your well-being. You can choose a phrase, Just like what we were discussing, like I am safe, I'm at ease, I'm supported, joy, I'm abundant. Or maybe it's just as simple as I am. And I invite you to internally say this to yourself 3 times in complete ease. And now begin to notice once again your natural breath. No need to change it, just pure observation. And as we get more and more comfortable, your breath will become more and more subtle. But for now, watching your breath is our entrance into Yoga Nidra. The breath is soft. The body is still. Your intention has been created. And now with your mind's eye, this is where we become, we stay awake and aware. And again, if you need to bend an elbow at some point, do so. So whether it's a thought, a sensation, or a point of color, follow your body, follow your mind into your body. Every place I take you. Sense, whether it's a gold star or a feeling, sense your intention or awareness in the center of your third eye, between the eyes. And recognizing that every place that I take you within the body, your intention is naturally wrapped up into each of these points. Now, place a point of awareness in the center of your throat. Feel your intention here. And then place a point of awareness in your right shoulder. And draw your attention, placing a point in your outer right elbow. And a point of intention in your outer right wrist. And starting at the pinky finger, place a point of intention in the tip of every finger all the way up to your thumb. And place a point of awareness in your inner right wrist. And in your inner right elbow. And back into your inner right shoulder, or your right shoulder. Place another point of awareness, once again at the center of the throat. And then your left shoulder, your outer left shoulder. Place a point of awareness in your outer left elbow. And one in your outer wrist. Place a point of awareness in the tip of every fingertip. Place a point of awareness in your inner left wrist. Your inner elbow. Your left shoulder. Place a point of awareness in your third eye, the space between the brows. Place a point of awareness in the center of your throat. Place a point of awareness in the center of your heart and allow your intention to dwell here. Place a point of awareness in your right hip, in your outer right knee, in your outer right ankle, and a point of awareness in the tip of every toe from the pinky all the way up to the big toe. Placing a point of awareness in your inner right ankle, your inner right knee, and back into your right hip. Once again, find a point of awareness in the center of the throat, and a point of awareness at your heart space, in the center of the chest. Place a point of awareness in your left hip, your outer left knee, your outer left ankle. Place a point of awareness in each of your left tip toes. In your inner left ankle. Find your point of awareness in your inner left knee and back into your left hip. Place a point of awareness at the root of your spine. A point of awareness at the sternum. Placing a point of awareness again at the center of your heart space. And a point of awareness at the space between your brows. Now feel all of these points together as a whole. Sense your intention infused into all of these points. Now imagine your whole body becoming very heavy. Feel the body heavy. And begin to imagine your body so light as if it's almost floating. Floating, so light. Now begin to feel warmth spread throughout your body. Feel this warmth, this perfect burning ember throughout your entire body. And now feel a soft coolness. Sensing a soft coolness returning to the body. Now once again, find a nice neutral, effortless state of being. Now imagine a nice quiet forest clearing, peaceful and calm. Feel yourself walking along a nice small path leading you inward inward into the forest, noticing the supporting ground. Now you begin to follow a soft, shimmering light to a nice, calm, and open space, your inner sanctuary, going deeper into your own forest on a path with a small, soft, calming light, your inner sanctuary. This place is a place where stress cannot follow you. Observe your colors, the smells, the air, and your feeling of safety. Here, in this deep well within us, is where your nervous system heals. Your breath is slow, your heart is steady, and your mind is quiet. Staying here, letting the vagus nerve soften and signal safety throughout your body. Signal safety throughout your body. Witnessing the body. Returning to the space of awareness. Feel all those points of light that hold your intention. Feel it as a quiet truth that you embody. Repeating your intention and feel it landing deeply within you. Feel the spaciousness within. Begin to feel the ground beneath you. Feel the temperature of the air that surrounds you. And begin to take slow, easy breaths. And when it feels right, slowly begin to come out of your yoga nidra practice, feeling resourced, finding the deep space, the deep wells of space within us, and feeling our intention become us. And taking your time when you are ready, we will all meet in seated. As you come to seated. Once again, take a moment to feel the breath enter and leave through your nostrils. And then begin to see the strength get stronger through the left or the right. Slowly begin to see if you could bring about balance, breathing more evenly through both nostrils. And let's bring our hands together and create this nice vigorous rub. Create some heat. And once you gain the heat, cup your eyes with it and take some nice couple of deep inhales and exhales. And we'll bring our hands together at our heart space when you're ready. Take this moment and feel the balance of the palms feel each fingertip press into the other just perfectly and softly. And in peace, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. What's that? Oh, yay. See, and when you sleep, you need it. You need it. But thank you guys for having me today. Thank you, Debbie, for having me today.
Thanks everyone for bringing all your great energy.
Yeah. And just kind of as a summary, there are so many different pranayama techniques and things like that to mitigate stress. I mean, that is really the goal of yoga, right? Is to relieve the stress within our bodies and the stressors that are presented to us in life. Or it's not to relieve them, it's how effectively we manage and self-regulate. That's the core right there. And I think that's a differentiator in our perspective in life that we need to honor. But what I wanted to use today and show you in the time that I had, what I felt as I've learned through my experiences too, the most beneficial pranayama techniques, which is that one just perceiving the unstruck or untouched prana and bringing that and allowing that clarity, that pureness to saturate our midbrain, our fear center, our living center. So to me, that could be one of the most powerful and intense breathing techniques. And then more of the